You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
National track and field champs are on in Wellington this weekend. High-quality fields, including 2016 Olympic bronze medalist Eliza McCartney in the women's pole vault.
She approaches, she rocks, she's missed it! She's missed it! I hate to do this, but that's great for New Zealand because 19-year-old Eliza McCartney has won the bronze medal at Rio 2016.
Yeah, that from 8 years ago. Eliza McCartney is coming into this meet, the National Track and Field Champs, in exceptional and very encouraging form, given that the Paris Olympics are now just over 4 months away. 2 weekends ago, she won silver at the World Athletics Indoor Championships in Glasgow, clearing 4 metres 80 and coming oh so close to winning gold with a narrow miss at 4.90. That was just a month after she cleared 4.84 at a meet in France. It's the second best height cleared by any female pole vaulter in the world in 2024. Eliza McCartney is with us. Good afternoon, Eliza. Everything seems to be trending in the right direction for you. How happy were you with the way you vaulted in France and then in Glasgow in the last month or so?
Oh, kia ora, thank you. Yeah, no, very, very happy with how things are going. The last couple months training has been progressing just really, really nicely. Just very smooth, great kind of build-ups towards these competitions. So we knew that things were really on track. And it's always just really cool when you get to pull that out at a major championship and win a medal. I mean, that's very special and very exciting, but also it's really encouraging because we know what we're doing in training is working. What we were seeing, what we thought was looking really good is actually looking good and coming out in competition. So I think it's just a really, it's been a really exciting season, actually. I've really enjoyed competing indoors. I've done World Indoor Champs before, but I did a whole season indoors this year and that was quite fun. And then, we have what will be my last competition of the season at Nationals this weekend. So I'm quite excited, hoping for good weather so I can have another crack at some high heights.
Well, you know what Wellington's like, Eliza. You can never be entirely sure about the weather. But putting that to one side, you say your new coach, Scott Simpson, you've been based with him in the UK since late last year. How did that all come together, the fact that, you've relocated or the two of you are in the same physical space? And clearly it's going well because you're seeing the results.
Oh, absolutely. He's a really experienced coach, and we are incredibly lucky, really, to have him come on board at Athletics New Zealand. It's just been one of those things where all the timings worked out and he was looking for a new opportunity and we needed a coach and it all just worked out. And he's fantastic. It's just, I've only been really working with him for maybe 4 months, I suppose, maybe 5 months. So really not long at all. And so it's pretty amazing for us to be seeing some results together already. And it really, to be honest, makes me quite excited for the years to come as well, when you've really had a chance to get in some proper training over the course of, 1, 2, 3 years. So no, it's kicked off to a great start so far. I know that everyone, the other vaulters as well are really enjoying this opportunity, really enjoying working with him. He's really enjoying coming out to New Zealand and checking it out. So it's been really fun, but also just what looks like it's going to be a fantastic relationship for us in pole vault in New Zealand.
Are there any major or even minor tweaks that the two of you together have made to your technique that have been successful and are starting to show in those results? Anything in particular you've worked together on?
Well, given we've only been working together for a few months, there's not actually a lot you can do technically in that time, I think. And mainly what Scott's helped me with over the last few months is not so much the technical improvements, although we've made some small gains there. But really it's actually just been about someone who understands me and understands my needs, because I'm a very needy athlete these days with all of the previous injuries that I've had. And Scott has a lot of experience with athletes, with pole vaulters, with Achilles issues, and so none of this is new to him. And so I think, to be honest, a lot of it is just his ability to coach me as an athlete really well, and we've been able to build on that relationship quite quickly and build a lot of trust. And as it often goes in sport, I'm a human, and someone who can coach me as a human before an athlete, I think that is always a very successful way to do things. And I think Scott's just the right person for me, to be perfectly honest. So I've just felt very grateful and very lucky for that.
How long's it been since you've consistently looked at heights on the bar in the 480s and the 490s? And how does it feel to be doing that again?
Oh, it's a bit of a relief, but it's also incredibly exciting because I know, and all through the time I've been injured, I always knew that I was capable of high heights. And of course, it's two different things to be capable of it and actually achieving it. But when you know that's within your potential, it's just really exciting to be back there again and just have that almost affirmation of, yes, no, that this is right. Like I know I can do this and I'm showing I can do it again. And as much as the 80s are a great height to be in, I'm also really looking forward to jumping some 90s again. That's the next step, really. But it's been really cool to have had that happen more consistently this last season, and feel really confident jumping at the 80s again. But yeah, hopefully it's just a stepping stone and I'll be moving on soon.
So have you officially qualified for Paris? I think it's 473, isn't it? So does the 484 in France, I'm not sure what the indoor situation is, but does the 484 in France qualify you for Paris?
Yes, I'm nicely qualified. I've done what's required of me, but first I need to be selected by Athletics New Zealand and the New Zealand Olympic Committee. And that happens at the beginning of April, I believe. So until I'm officially selected, it's not official, but I've done what's required of me, so hopefully all will be well.
Wonderful stuff. Well, I can't see any impediments to that. In terms of the nationals here in New Zealand, was coming back to defend your national title always part of your schedule for 2024?
Yes, it was always part of the plan. It worked out really nicely with World Indoors, which I think between the two comps it will be roughly 2 weeks. And so that's not bad. It's enough time to get home, get readjusted to the time zone, and be competing again. So no, it was always part of the plan. And it's a nice way to end, actually, to be back in New Zealand competing, because I spent most of the season offshore. I did one competition in Auckland back in December, but the rest I've done over in Europe. And it's actually really nice just to be back and get to compete on home turf with, all that. Our amazing athletes around me with a home crowd, all that sort of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to finishing off the season with a nice championships at home.
And beyond that, Eliza, what will happen then? How much downtime will you have before you start, ramping up? Because like I said at the start, it's only just over 4 months until Paris. So what will the next 4 months look like for you?
Yeah, it goes very quickly. But yeah, I'm taking just 1 week off after our nationals, and then I'll be straight back into a solid block of training through for about a month and a half, I think, which is not really that long to rebuild, but we'll do what we can in that time. And then my first competition's in the middle of May over in America. So I do a couple comps then. I've got a few comps lined up for June, July in Europe, and then for us, the Olympics are on the 5th of August, I think. That's when the women's pole vaulters. So, yeah, as you say, it's going to go very fast, but we're just got to use our time as wisely as possible, make sure I actually rebuild well, because it's a long time to try and maintain strength and speed over if you're competing. So you want to be really strong and fast going into it, basically. So that's going to be the focus for the next couple months.
It's just so awesome to be talking to you about this and hearing just the excitement in your voice, because it has been tough, hasn't it? You look back at the injuries that have befallen you and just the enormous amount of bad luck that you've had. How have you got through it all?
With a lot of support. These aren't things that you can do by yourself, and I'm very sure about that. I've always been well supported by both Athletics New Zealand and High Performance Sport New Zealand, and that obviously means a lot because they provide the expertise and the funding and everything that's required for these sorts of campaigns. And then, of course, just the wider support of what everyone says always, friends and family, just to know that people encourage you to be going out there and chasing these kind of quite interesting goals. I mean, as my coach likes to put it, we're just jumping over a stick with another stick, but we get very serious about it. And so to have that level of support is what really helps, to be honest, to know that I'm, that it's not just a fruitless cause. Like I had reason to keep training and keep working on things, because I was always told that it might seem bad, but it looks like we can solve these issues and you will be able to get back vaulting at a high level. And thankfully it turned out that they were right. So just to have that level of encouragement, I think allowed me just to keep going at it, because I didn't want to leave it at such a low like that, and I, like I said earlier, I know what my potential is, and I'm really keen just to give it a good shot at trying to reach my full potential if I can.
Absolutely. But were there times, though, when you doubted that the specialists were right? Did you think to yourself, were there times when you thought, man, I'm just not going to make it back?
Yeah, I think it's a really hard thing when, your job and your career and everything that you do relies on your body being really strong and fit. And when it's not that way, to the point where you can't even do, daily activities around the house, it's hard to believe that it will get back there again. So I guess I wasn't really sure from a physical perspective if my body could handle it. But as I kept seeing, as we keep kind of reaching these little milestones, and improvements were being made slowly over time, it kind of gives you the encouragement you need. But mostly it is a psychological game. And I've always tried to keep up with everything I can from a psychological point of view. I've got a mental skills coach, a sports psychologist, and also a clinical psychologist, just making sure I tap into everything I've got at my fingertips. Because really, more than anything, it's a psychological game. And if you can get your head in the right space, then you'll be fine. You'll work through it. Amazing.
You reckon you can clear 5 metres?
Yeah, I reckon I can. I reckon it's possible, and I want to give it a really good shot.
Well, August the 5th sounds like a great time to do that. Eliza, it's just been such a delight to chat to you. All the best for the weekend in Wellington and for a very exciting year. As I said, it's just so awesome to hear you in such high spirits with a very exciting year ahead. So thank you for taking the time for a chat this afternoon.
Oh, no, thank you. I really appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you joining us, Eliza. Eliza McCartney there, as I say, just terrific after the roller coaster she's had since Rio in 2016, to have her in good heart and in good form. And what a great line, eh? All we're doing is jumping over a stick with another stick, but we take it very seriously. Terrific from Eliza McCartney. She's in Wellington for the National Track and Field Champs, which are on this weekend.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.